Not a great way to start. Not a great way to start. Okay, I'm going to tweet out this link. I'm just going to tweet out this link here. This new Twitter format, kind of frustrating. As soon as I figured out how to do this, here we go. Okay, I'm tweeting out the link for the stream. Let's see here. So I'm just adjusting all my stuff. Waiting for my huge deluge of viewers to come and appear. Hello. We're just waiting for the as I was saying, we're waiting for the hordes of people to come now. Should be any moment now that hundreds and hundreds of devoted followers of mine are going to be joining us on the stream. Pretty exciting stuff. Nope, just me. Well, fair enough. I'm happy to have you too. Yeah. Maybe I should change the background. I want something that grabs people, you know? And I feel like that's a good place to start, certainly. Trudeau. There's our boy. Yeah. It's crazy that a guy with this many really goofy pictures of himself out there on the internet is the prime minister, but he is. You know? Don't ask me to explain it. Don't ask me to explain it. I don't know if anyone was here in the stream yesterday. You might have noticed I've upgraded my webcam. Looking a little bit sharper. It's a little bit brighter. It's not my like crappy laptop webcam. So we're improving the quality of the stream already on day 2. Pretty exciting. Yeah, I guess Trump has a lot of awful pictures also out there. Who knows? We were always told that this kind of stuff can't be floating out there if you want to be in political power, but apparently it doesn't matter. Apparently none of the fake rules that people told us were so important for years actually mean all that much. You can just ignore them. That's kind of the interesting thing about the Trump era, isn't it? Everyone's just like, none of this matters. This is all bullshit. I don't have to pay attention to it. And that's been bad in some ways, like we've seen with Trump. But ultimately, I think it can hopefully be freeing for a whole new generation of politicians and people getting involved in the political process to realize that all these stupid rules don't actually mean anything. And you can just kind of do whatever you want. You know, that's good. So as I mentioned in the tweet, if you're coming over here from the tweet I just sent out, I did pay a visit to I believe it's the SQDC is the acronym today, which is the like government marijuana dealership retailer, I guess. Picked up some THC oral spray made from the government. So I'm all whacked out on THC spray. Pretty good stuff. I was saying to a friend of mine the other day, there's a whole lot of reasons in 2019. It's a lot of awful stuff going on. You have coming eco-apocalypse. You have the rise of the far right and fascism returning. A whole lot of really terrible stuff going on. But our getting high technology has increased greatly. And that is a positive, I guess. You have to take the good with the bad. Obviously, there's a lot of bad, but we can still hold on to the things that are working, right? Injecting the marijuanas, that's right. Yeah, this isn't your grandpa's stream. We're talking about dangerous, crazy stuff today. Now, I don't know what I'm actually going to talk about. Similar to yesterday, I just kind of am figuring this stuff out, the technology. I just turned it on, and I'm just going to rely on my improv skills to carry us through to something here. I got a tweet from Korea DPRK here. Well, I guess I should just put this on the stream, shouldn't I? What am I doing? How's that going to work, actually? So I'm going to look at the stream while I'm on the stream. That's kind of postmodern, isn't it? Is this going to create like a weird echo singularity situation? Weird oh boy. I don't know if I'm going to like this. Anyway, I can't see the tweet that was just posted anyway because I have no chat. I'm going to close that before it goes too crazy over here. And I'll also put it on my other computer here. So look at the DPRK. A lot of working people, school, youth, and children have a pleasant time at the Mirror Mare Club. That's nice. I know there are problems in the DPRK. We can debate how much of that is caused by, 50 years of having weapons pointed at them and being kind of isolated by America. But I do always appreciate seeing footage from the DPRK and just seeing that there are people there just going about their lives and they're not these like amorphous, scary communist monsters. They're just kind of regular folks hanging out, going about their lives. I like that. I don't think we see that kind of stuff in the media when they talk about the DPRK. All we hear about is this like, crazy, repressive police state where people are starving. I'm sure there are problems there, but it would be nice to actually get a glimpse of the fact that there are just people there. So when we talk about things like, they're being scary, we just have to nuke them. And it's like, well, maybe if we take a look at the fact that there's just people, average people hanging out there, we won't be so inclined to just like talk about having this big conflict with them and probably killing lots of people. That would be good. That was kind of a really odd thing about Trump's talks with the DPRK, is that you have a lot of liberals kind of saying, no, go back to not talking to them and isolate them and go back to the situation before. And like the situation before wasn't really great. And kind of the way I see that is that I think peace activists like in South Korea, like President Moon, from my understanding in South Korea, this has been something he's been working towards for a long time, like a reconciliation with the North. And so people like in both countries are just like taking advantage of the fact that the president of the United States is this gullible dunce, and are kind of using that to their advantage to like accomplish their goals, of like hopefully having some kind of a reconciliation between the two countries. But meanwhile, you had a bunch of liberals talking about like how it's terrible and we need to go back to having a frosty, kind of constantly on the brink of war relationship with them. It's like not giving Trump credit for doing diplomacy or being nice to DPRK, but it's like, people that want peace there are using this big dumb moron to achieve the things that they want to achieve. That's not so bad. I don't think that's a bad thing. Yeah, so this is a pro DPRK stream. I'm happy to let you know. I'm full tanky now. Maybe that's not accurate, but they've got some points. Sometimes you have to pay attention to. I guess part of that is just like a reflexive need to just not give Trump credit for anything, which I understand. Trump's very bad. Bad person, racist, doing a whole lot of terrible stuff. But I think that is an example of something that is not so bad. Having a different relationship with DPRK. But again, it's not giving Trump credit. It's giving, people who want peace in Korea the credit for that. And they're just kind of like, they see their chance to kind of like possibly have the United States decrease their military presence there and their like diplomatic presence and their, overall presence. Rob, will you play the guitar? I don't know. Is that Hugh? I don't know, Hugh. I don't know if I'm going to play it today. It is a nice guitar, though. It is an Epiphone Deluxe, which I am not planning on playing today. You want to see my other really cool guitar, though? It's kind of facing the other way, so you can't see it, but check this out, though. That is my Gibson Explorer, kind of a classic 80s guitar. Sounds great. I probably haven't changed the strings on it in like 5 years, and it's all like dusty and stuff. I'm a little bit out of practice with my musical stuff. Very cool guitar, though. Very cool. Yeah, that's right. the like Starburst hollow thing, that's a Gibson. No, sorry, it's not a Gibson. It's an Epiphone Deluxe, which is it's like a copy of a Gibson ES355, which I believe is the name of it. If I just say it confidently enough, then, people will think that I'm cool. Yeah, I don't really talk about doing music stuff that much. I don't really share. I still make music, and I like to, record the odd thing. I really just do it for me. I like to listen to it in, like, the shower or in my car. But doing music is kind of how I cope with I talked about this on Jared Holt's podcast the other day. Doing music is kind of how I cope with the like really oppressive nature of reality just being awful and everything being bad and feeling like we're headed to this like terrible eco-apocalypse where we're going to see, migrants be put into concentration camps by the thousands. And we have food shortages and the return of like really terrible diseases that have been frozen in the Arctic permafrost for millennia. So when I start thinking about that too much, I start writing pop songs, right? 80s pop songs, which I kind of have an obsessive personality when it comes to like creative projects. So sometimes just as like a defense mechanism, I'll just become fixated on like writing a really kitschy, dumb like 80s pop song, and I'll spend like a week just like thinking about nothing but that. Never too late to learn an instrument. Yeah, that's right. Eventually I'm going to have to change this background. It's actually starting to weird me out a little bit also. What a dork. My God. Unbelievable. It was so painful in the sort of few months or a year after Trump was elected, where Trudeau became this like U.S. media darling, and everyone's saying like, this is what a real, like, what a cool and good and nice leader of the country it looks like, and acts, and you see his like socks. Like look at his socks. That is a good person there. And then Macron was elected in France, and it's like, oh, look, these guys, you just need to have this like handsome kind of, well, I guess, that's subjective, obviously. But you just had this kind of like young, kind of vapid looking guy who's going to grease the wheels of the neoliberal machine. Everything can go back to normal. And that was really painful to have that narrative be kind of like constantly being talked about in the media. Now it's not going so well for Macron anyways. You have people like burning down the country because they hate him so much. So not looking great there. And what worries me about France too is because now you have people kind of put their faith that Macron was going to kind of right the ship. They had a choice to choose Le Pen and go towards the far right, and they didn't. And what did he do? He stabbed Labor in the back. He's like not doing nearly enough in terms of environmental stuff. And I feel like in the next French election, Le Pen's going to be the one talking about labor and talking about the environment, and then everything is going to be very fucked. Once right-wing parties realize that like these kind of centrist or neoliberal parties don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to these issues, and they realize, oh, we can talk about this stuff, that's when things are going to get very, very bad. That's why in Canada, for example, we talk about we want to push our left-wing parties to talk about this stuff first, and they're not really making it happen to the extent that it needs to. Which is fun. Can't tell whether the streamer is alt-right or commie. It's a commie, so you can put your mind at ease about that. Not alt-right. Yeah, nothing is really looking great anywhere. No. And I talked about this a little bit on the stream yesterday, the Canadian election. A whole lot of people that are really plugged into this stuff that I know and I trust a lot really, really don't think that the Conservatives are going to win this election. I've been basically like walking around for the last year or so since Doug Ford was elected, just assuming that the Conservatives were going to win the next election. There's a lot of compelling evidence out there showing us that they're not going to. But like I was saying yesterday, I will believe it when it happens. On my podcast, 49th Parahell, which is available on all podcast apps, iTunes, and everything, and everyone should be listening to. I spoke with my friend Andrew Law. He's from hosts a podcast called Bunta Vista, based in Australia. And we had talked right before their election about how certain everyone was that their Conservative government was finally getting put out, and their I think I might be getting confused because I think the Liberal Party is the Conservative Party there. But yeah, so that's correct. And everyone was kind of 100% or like very extremely certain that the Labour Party was going to take power in Australia. All the polls were showing it. And lo and behold, the fucking right-wing fascists won that election as well. So no matter how much evidence there is, empirical evidence about why the Conservative Party in Canada is not going to win the next election, whether it's polling, whether you can point to things like Doug Ford's extreme unpopularity in Ontario in his first year and the things that the kind of reforms that he's pushing for. No one really likes it. Everyone's getting a taste of what the Conservative Party actually stands for. And that's kind of like damaging their credibility. There's all kinds of compelling arguments for why they're not going to win the election. And like I said, I will believe it when it happens and not a minute before. Manitoba fucked. Yes, I just shared a piece by my friend and colleague James Wilt today, just outlining all the different ways that basically exactly what the Conservative Party in Manitoba has done over the last few years since they won power, and it's pretty damning. It's just been a complete disaster for Manitoba, as anyone could have told you, because we know that conservative politics don't actually work in terms of the economics. It's pretty much just a big kind of magical fairy tale that they tell over and over, and people keep believing it, that, we're going to cut taxes, we're going to cut regulations, and then magically through this formula, good things are going to happen and people are going to have more money. Lo and behold, it doesn't end up working out like that usually. So that's what's been going on in Manitoba. And no, we don't have a left-wing old guy like Corbyn or Sanders. Again, I talked about this a little bit yesterday. I'll go into it again. We have the NDP, who are kind of supposed to be the Social Democratic Party here in Canada. They had a kind of a leadership race over a year ago, and we did have a politician, Nikki Ashton, who's very progressive, who kind of identified the Sanders and Corbyn phenomenon and said, this is where the future is. This is where young voters are going to be. So, she tried to become leader of the NDP. Of course, faced a lot of structural challenges to that and ended up not winning. And the guy that won is this guy, Jagmeet Singh, who I like Jagmeet Singh. I think he's kind of a young and dynamic guy, which is important, I think, in sort of modern politics. The NDP, they've put out this it's a pretty impressive platform with all kinds of, there's good stuff in there. But there's this kind of weird scenario where it just feels like they're not running in this election to win. There's a certain element of this party that doesn't actually want to implement any of this more intense social democracy stuff, or possibly also concerned about putting Singh front and center, even though he's the leader of the party, because he's a Sikh man. He's a brown guy, wears a turban. And I think there are plenty of people in Canada that are terrified of that kind of a thing. And I think probably the people running the NDP are also well, we can't, go too far and frighten these terrified racist people. But so it's led to this weird situation where Jagmeet hasn't really been getting out there for the last year and campaigning and pushing these ideas and pushing back against the Liberal Party and pushing back against the Conservative Party. There's so many things he could be talking about every single day in the media and raising a stink about, as it were. And it just hasn't really been happening. I think I saw something about Facebook, Canadian political ad dollars on Facebook, and you have these far right far right meme pages like Ontario Proud, just pumping thousands of dollars into Facebook ads and getting their message out there about how bad immigration is and how it's really important that we support oil pipelines and the right for oil conglomerates in the United States and elsewhere to poison indigenous water supplies. They're spending money all the time on promoting this idea and getting all these certain folks all riled up about this kind of message. And the NDP has just been doing nothing. No ads They're just not really interested in like talking to people about what they're offering. They're not really interested in like putting out ads about why we should be like voting for them, why it's not a good idea to vote for the Liberal Party or the Conservative Party. We just don't hear from them that much. So, good times. So the people that I kind of trust to weigh in on this have basically said that it's probably going to be another Liberal government, possibly a minority, but maybe even just a Liberal majority in this coming election. And like I said, that wouldn't be the worst case scenario, but it would still not be great. And we also have this like a very far right party now, the People's Party of Canada, led by this guy Maxime Bernier. There's a good chance they're going to pick up a bunch of seats. And I think, I don't know if I believe this, but there's kind of like a theory that because Bernier was running for the Conservative Party leadership a while back and did not win, I think came in second and then splintered off to his own party. And I think there's a good chance that, and this is kind of the conspiracy theory about this, is that they're basically like secretly in cahoots and just a way for the Conservative Party to openly reach out to these like lunatics on the far right, like QAnon people. Like Bernier actually like retweeted a QAnon account on Twitter a few weeks ago, and just like, okay, really, really out there stuff. So they're probably going to pick up a bunch of seats in this election, which is also not good. It's just the whole election is just going to be awful. Awful. Really not looking forward to it. But that is one of the reasons that I wanted to start doing this stream. Hopefully, yeah, exactly. They're mainstreaming fascism. That's exactly what's happening. So my idea is hopefully by the time this election rolls around, I can hopefully be at affiliate status over here on Twitch. And then I can do like a election spectacular stream with cool guests. I would like to have some guests today. I didn't really plan this out too well. I could probably figure it out. My understanding is that I would just have to like have someone Skype me in, and then on OBS here, which I'm looking at, add another source, which would be the Skype window. I don't know if I want to figure it out live though. I would also have to like have someone come on live too. So that might not be that entertaining, like me trying to troubleshoot a call in a live setting. But maybe, who knows? Connected to all kinds of interesting folks over there on the internet via twitter.com. Oh, am I frozen? Okay, dropping frames. I'm not sure what that's all about. Okay, hang on here, folks. Hang on here. I don't know if you can hear me. Just adjusting some settings. Things are not looking too good on the stream right now. Let's see. Streaming tools. What am I looking for here? What's going on? What's happening here? Am I still... Okay, I'm going to go back and check. See if I'm still all frozen here. Hello. Hello. Well, this makes sense. It's my second stream over, so I might as well jump right into the technical difficulties, which I understand is like a hallmark of streaming. So it's only a matter of time Disconnect protection. Latency mode. So I'm in low latency mode. I think I want that. Yeah. This is just a disaster. Are we doing better here? Yeah, I don't know if it's a problem with Twitch or if it's just my internet connection. I'm here in my basement, which, okay, it's fine. Okay, it might have just been a hiccup in my Wi-Fi. So problem solved. So Dirty Kami, I don't think I need the tech support right now. Maybe for OBS and adding someone to the stream via Skype or Discord. I might need help with that. Goddamn Videotron. I'm actually Bell. Anywho. I'm just going to check my DMs here because I want to see if Hugh Stewart messaged me about the chat. Yeah, there you go. Currently watching Rob TV. Yep. Good stuff. The Rob Rousseau Show. Here we are. So listen, I don't really know what to talk about now. We could just open up twitter.com, see what's going on. We're going to see what's happening over in the wonderful, non-depressing world of twitter.com. We got a cartoon here. Oh boy. Man. That is a cursed image, isn't it? That is a cursed image. Awful. Although I will say this for Alec Baldwin's Trump impression, I almost like it because of how bad it is. Like it's truly terrible. But I feel like because it's so bad, it probably does make Trump angry, which is good. Because it's just so absurd and preposterous. Though it would be cool if, SNL used that platform to actually do anything meaningful or insightful or funny. That would be good too. I guess they've kind of moved away from that. Now they just have like people in Trump wigs like singing and stuff, which is an interesting creative choice, I guess. But I guess not everything can be good. What else is going on twitter.com today? Is Biden... In the space of 3 minutes, Biden got the time period, the location, the heroic act, the type of medal, the military branch, and the rank of the recipient wrong, as well as his own role in the ceremony. So, everything going great with the Biden campaign now. That's a great tweet, actually. Yeah, I do remember when SNL, Michael Che was feuding with Jack Allison. That was very funny. I love Jack Allison, Jack TV, or no, sorry, Jack AM, which is a great show here on Twitch. And I would support him being in Michael Che's position on SNL. I think SNL would be improved drastically by including Jack Allison into the mix. But yeah, Biden is not, he can't do this, right? It's just, he can't. We all see it. I mean, it's clear as day to everyone. Biden just cannot do this. His fucking brain is bad. It's no good anymore. And, you know, there cannot be a Trump versus Joe Biden campaign. It is going to be the most excruciating thing for like a whole fucking year. This cannot be allowed to happen. Come on now. And oh gosh, like I was saying, I guess if people are tuning in today, it's good you didn't hear what I had to say yesterday. Even if you are a fan of like Joe Biden's brand of politics, the kind of I'm going to reach a hand across the aisle. I'm going to try and appeal to Republicans and conservatives, and we're going to come together in a good faith consensus. I mean, I think it's preposterous to still believe that that's a possibility, but even if that's the case and you do believe that that's what like the government is supposed to do, clearly you can see that this guy is just not cut out for this. Like, he's just not going to be able to do it. We have like a year left of how much is left in the Democratic primary? Like, still like a long time. And he's already just, every time he goes on camera, just says something completely fucking absurd. He can't do it. What more can you say about Joe Biden? I don't even think he's that bad of a guy. I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's stood for a lot of bad political positions throughout his career, but like in his heart of hearts, I don't think he's a terrible person. But he should not be running for president. He should not even have been vice president in the first place, as we're seeing. I think him just being out in the public eye again and just making a fool of himself constantly is like as much of an indictment as Obama's legacy, as you can imagine. Because it's showing like, wait, who picked this guy to be the vice president for 8 years? Really? And, I was really following the Obama campaign in 2008, but I definitely wasn't plugged into a lot of the conversations to this extent that I am now, obviously. Wasn't totally aware of Biden's like long history of basically standing behind it, like being front and center of like every bad decision that was made in the Democratic Party for like decades. Wasn't really aware of that history. And yeah, you can see in hindsight, Obama was like really trying to assure the people like running the Democratic Party and kind of the people in like elite political people holding elite political power at that time, showing them, I'm not going to do anything too crazy. Look who my VP is. We're just going to try and do the kind of thing of reaching across the aisle and being post-partisan and find a consensus. But I'm going to include some like soaring rhetoric, and I'm going to put a real appealing face on that project. But you can see that that's what he was thinking with his Joe Biden selection way back in 2008, and did not work out that well, that whole strategy, in hindsight. Did not work out that well. Yeah, I saw that tweet as well. Convinced your elderly parent they can't handle driving anymore. Yeah, it's true. But surely there's also people pulling the strings behind the Democratic Party who are basically like, look, he's leading in the polls. We tried to push Kamala as like the successor, and she's polling at like 7%. Even after she like completely fucked over Biden like in that debate and made him look completely foolish. Didn't really get much of a bump from that. And so he's leading the polls, so he's just who we have to put our weight behind, because obviously it can't be Bernie Sanders, because he's going to raise the taxes of the people that are funding our political party. Fun times ahead. Fun times ahead in the United States presidential election, which I think will probably, regardless of what the outcome is, tear America apart, probably irrevocably. It's going to be an absolute disaster. There's certainly going to be an uptick of like far right violence as we get closer to the election, and especially if Trump loses, or possibly even if he wins. I think we're going to definitely see an increase in that. And I still think that Bernie Sanders is going to win the Democratic nomination and beat Trump in the 2020 election. That's what I'm going to continue saying until it manifests into reality. But obviously, Bernie's facing a lot of institutional power himself. He's got the whole fucking weird Democratic primary process that you guys have for whatever reason. That's just so confusing and dumb. A whole lot of things standing in the way of him getting to that nomination. And I feel like if there's any sense that he got screwed over again in 2020, people are going to kind of rebel even more so than they did in 2016, because I think most Bernie supporters in 2016 got in line and said, okay, well, I'm pissed off about what happened here, but I don't want Trump to be president. Vote for the Democratic Party anyways. And what ended up happening was the chosen anointed candidate ate shit in the most important election ever and lost to Donald Trump. And those Bernie people that got in line still got blamed for Trump getting elected. So a lot of those people in 2020, if Bernie doesn't get the nomination, are going to say, well, I got blamed last time anyways. I'm just not going to fucking vote for Joe Biden or whoever, because what's the point? He's still going to lose, which I think he probably will. And we're still going to get blamed no matter what. So I think even more people are going to rebel if there's any sense that Bernie does not, if he kind of gets screwed out of the nomination again. Yep. It is going to be an absolute disaster. And even if the good thing happens of Bernie winning, and winning the nomination, beating Trump, which is, I think there's still a chance that that's going to happen. I mean, like I said, that's what I'm going to keep saying because I want to make it a real thing, like The Secret or whatever. But even if he does win, there's going to be a freak out from like the center and the right, the likes of which we've never seen. Like they lost their minds over Obama and his like completely middling neoliberal consensus building, and they've fucking lost their minds over that. Well, they're going to go even more crazy once it's Bernie, and only then it's not going to be just the right and the far right. It's going to be the sort of liberal establishment as well. They're going to all lose their minds. There's probably going to be some kind of like a capital strike. CEOs and billionaires and rich people in America are going to try to intentionally tank the market. And there's going to be a whole lot of there would be more pushback on a President Sanders administration, institutional pushback on what his policies are, than there ever was during this like insane Trump era of building fucking concentration camps and doing the really horrific shit that they've been doing. They've just been kind of allowed to do that and said, oh, well, he's the president, that we can only just talk about it. We can't impeach him. We can't do anything except kind of pursue this dumb conspiracy theory about Russia. That's the only thing we can possibly hope to do. But if Sanders wins the nomination and wins the presidency and tries to institute some of this stuff, there is going to be a whole lot of institutional pushback from all over the place. And you know what? Even though that might happen, it will be cool to see. And I think Bernie is aware of this. Bernie knows that nothing's going to change anyway without mobilizing massive numbers of people. And if they get the sense that even though they've chosen democratically to enact certain reforms like wealth taxes and all the kind of antitrust stuff that he wants to do, and the criminal justice reform and the canceling student debt, all this stuff, when people realize, so we can vote for this stuff, but that it won't happen because just people have decided that it's not allowed, well, that's going to have them lose even more faith in the process of what's possible through electoral politics, which is going to lead a whole lot of people to start thinking about other ways possibly that they can institute social and political change and economic change. And won't get too much more into the details of that. I believe it's a violation of Twitch's terms of service. And I don't want to, it's a new thing, my Twitch account, this whole streaming venture. Don't want to get it canceled before it even gets going. That would be a disaster. So what else am I looking at here? Oh, this is a funny tweet. I mean, listen. It's sorry, I'm just looking at the chat there. Up to 18 viewers too. That's fun. That's exciting for me. So these are all just like conservative heads, and it's really disconcerting. It's like an uncanny valley, like a CGI program that's like glitching out, like a character creator in like a WWE video game or an RPG that someone's taken one of the sliders, like on this guy here, it's just like taken the chin slider and just erased it. There's always something kind of like weird and off-putting about it. This is the most disturbing. This is the most disturbing one there. Sebastian Gorka's head is just gigantic. Like, look at, like, we see, this is not like a perspective trick, I think. I mean, they're mostly standing next to each other here, right? Hannity and Gorka. His head is like twice the size of Sean Hannity's. That's just stunning to me. Look at that. Remember, So I Married an Axe Murderer? Look at the size of that boy's head. I'm not kidding. That's like an orange on a toothpick. That's my little So I Married an Axe Murderer throwback. Makes fun of his son's head. But that is just, that's absurd. The size of Gorka's head there. And that's Miller High Life over on Twitter. A recommended follow for me. Ryan Boyd as well. Another good guy. What else do we got here? What are we looking at here? Okay. This is one of my online friends, Zandy, who is in this movie. This new Steven Soderbergh movie. I don't know if I can put sound. I don't even know if I can play this. Like, it might be violating copyright or something. But the movie is called The Laundromat. Steven Soderbergh. That's going to be out on Netflix soon. Check that out. Zandy's in that. I think she has a scene with Meryl Streep. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Through that. That's exactly what Rap Rock and I talked about in the beginning.
Couldn't get it through that.
I don't know. I don't
That's
think you can
exactly
hear it.
what Rap Rock and I talked about in the beginning.
Couldn't get it through that.
That's exactly what Rap Rock and I talked about in the beginning.
Couldn't get it through that.
Rap
That's
Rock
exactly
Obama.
what Rap Rock and I talked about in the beginning.
Couldn't get it through that.
That's exactly what Rap Rock and I talked about.
Rap Rock Obama. And then the other day he like forgot Obama's name again. Like, so this is one case of it. And then there's one who's like, and when I was vice president, well, me and president, my boss told me, he's president, my boss, was what Joe Biden said. And for a guy who's basing his whole appeal on like, I'm Obama's friend. That's his whole pitch. Probably not ideal if he can't remember his goddamn name. Probably is not going to work for Joe Biden. He can't do it. That's just the reality. The people that are backing Biden, whatever the reason is, they have to be saying to themselves, this is not going to work. You still have time. You have 6 months still to figure something else out. Fucking get Biden out of there. He's done. He can't do it. We're expected to believe that not only is he going to continue campaigning for president, fucking campaign against Trump for 8 months in the condition that he's in, and then also be president for 4 years or 8 years. He can't do it, folks. Sorry. You got to find someone else. What else do I got here? What else is going on Twitter.com? There's my friend Karen Geyer. I heart that dog picture. Very nice dog. What else? There's Liz Warren. I talked about her plenty yesterday. I like Liz Warren a lot. I'm not like one of these, like, I don't think she's bad. I think she's bringing a lot of good stuff to the table. But for a number of reasons is not as good as Bernie as a presidential candidate. And not sure that she's going to beat Trump either. Alex Trebek back at work. Good for him. That's good. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Joel Schumacher. It's estimated that he's had up to 20,000 sexual partners. Okay. I mean, he was a pretty successful director in the 80s and 90s. I'm sure he was doing okay. I'm sure Joel was doing okay in that category. Some kind of glass blowing thing? Okay. What else am I looking at here? Let's check in on Justin Trudeau. Yep, still there. He's still there. Disconcerting. Justin Trudeau. Most likely to be still Prime Minister of Canada after today. After the coming election. I lost my train of thought because I was thinking about something that I wanted to do on the stream, and now I'm talking really fast so you all forget the weird hiccup that I just did. Let's move past that. But no, what I wanted to say was that there is a number of reasons that Trudeau's been very disappointing as Prime Minister. I talked about electoral reform. That was kind of a central plank of his election strategy in when he was elected Prime Minister, was talking about electoral reform, getting rid of first past the post voting, which I was like actually really excited about because I hate our electoral system. It's very undemocratic, very stupid. So he's backed down on that. He's backed down. He talks a lot about environmentalism and how important that is, but he's like buying oil pipelines to like bail out his friends in the oil industry, making sure that like they can profit as much as possible still while the planet is like heading towards fucking complete doom. So a number of reasons why that has been disappointing, but something that's quite good actually that he did do was finally legalize marijuana in this country. And if you just hang on for 1 second, actually, I went to, for the first time today, as I was mentioning at the beginning of the stream, I went to the local marijuana retailer, the SQDC, for the first time. I had ordered it online before, but I had never been to like the physical location. I showed up at like right when it opened, and there was a huge line like down the block. So feel like they probably need to open a few more of those here in Montreal. But the line went pretty quickly. I got in and out fairly quickly. Just hold on for 1 second. I'm going to go and grab what I purchased at the marijuana retailer here in Montreal, and I'll show you. I'm also going to grab a diet soda. I'm going to be back in 1 second, okay? Okay, is talking about that legal? That is important. I don't want to get banned for talking about drug stuff. I literally went to the government-operated legal cannabis retailer today. That's all I'm talking about. 100% legal. If you're in the United States or somewhere where it's not legal, I do not encourage you to ever use illicit drugs that are banned, that can get you in trouble with the law. If you're underage, don't do it. I do not encourage that. I'm merely explaining to the viewers of the channel what my experience has been living in a nation that now does have legalized marijuana. And I'm going to just go upstairs for 1 second. I'm going to show you what I purchased today and also grab a diet soda. I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm back. I'm going to open my Diet Coke here. Yeah, so it is legal in the UK, but it is illegal in the UK. But since democracy has been suspended, I think anything goes right now. So I think you're probably good. No, that's a joke. That is a joke. I'm not encouraging anyone to break any laws or do anything like that. I'll talk a bit about that in just 1 second, because that's something I've been interesting for a while. So here's what I purchased today. It is this here. It's a oral THC spray. See? You can see the branding there. I'm trying to show you. Okay, not in focus. Kind of hard to see, but it's like this oral spray. And you can just, it's 25 milligrams per milliliter THC cannabis oil. And you just you just go and take a few little spritzes. And if it's legal, where you live, again, I'm in Canada. I'm just describing something perfectly legal that I do if you're over the age of, I believe, 19. And if you meet all those criteria, you take a few little spritzes and you start in like an hour or two, you start to feel pretty groovy. So happy I was able to purchase that today. At the legal cannabis retailer. Okay, what I kind of want to, I took a few pictures. I can actually show you, I believe. I just don't want you to see, if I open up my photos, I don't want you to see anything. Not that there's anything that objectionable in my photos, but, you know, I just don't want to weird anyone out here. Also, I am kind of leery about showing images of my kids on social media, because sometimes really weird and terrible people get mad with me and they send me threatening messages about my family members. So I'm going to try to avoid that. So here is the outside of the SQDC here in Montreal. As you can see, there's a big line. That's what it looks like, though. And so this was me standing in line for my spray. There's, like I said, there's a big line all the way down the street, but it went pretty fast. And there's the sign there. And here's inside. Oh man, I feel like this guy's looking at me like, why are you taking my picture? I was just I'm not trying to like dox anyone or like do anything bad. I just wanted to show people the inside of the weed store. But that's it. See, there's a bunch of selections. There's some nice people kind of telling you what they have to offer. And it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. And there's the spray. So it's pretty enjoyable. I mean, I've been allegedly using certain substances like that for quite a while. And that's one thing that I just was never really sure that I was going to see in my lifetime, is that being completely legal. And it's pretty neat. I got to say, it's pretty neat. And that is one thing that our boy here, Justin Trudeau, our boy there, right? That's one thing he did make happen, which I do appreciate. I'm sorry. Okay, now I'm looking at myself and I see I pointed off in the other direction. I'll get the hang of this stuff, okay? Don't give me a fucking hard time about my camera placement. I'll figure this stuff out, all right? Anyway, so that's what I did today. But yeah, going back to the UK, I saw someone mention the UK and the current situation there. This is something that I've spent time talking about on my podcast called 49th Parahell. Oh, hang on just 1 second. Someone just got here. I'll be right back. Hello, check. Sorry about that, everybody. Got a bunch of people still here. That's okay. That's cool. But, okay, so my stepson just got back from his first day of school. Was not expecting him to get back here right away. So I'm going to cut the stream short. I'm going to go check in with him, see how his day went. I think this is pretty successful. What did we do? Like a little more than an hour here. I had fun doing the stream. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to be back again soon enough. And I guess that's all. I'm going to go and do dad stuff now. But it was a pleasure speaking with all of you. I'll weigh in on the UK stuff more. That'll be more of a next time thing. Sneak preview for that. Hope you enjoyed watching the stream. I enjoyed doing it. I'm going to keep doing the streaming stuff. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. But that is enough. That's enough of the Rob Rousseau show now. I'll be signing off. If you don't know who I am and you're just some random person from Twitch watching this, check me out on twitter.com @RobRousseau. You can also find my podcast at 49th Parahell. It's on all the podcast apps, SoundCloud, iTunes. Check out 49th Parahell. Check out the podcast. Find me on twitter.com. Hope you enjoyed the stream. I'll be back again next time. Take care, everybody.